Wow, what a classic. Instant reaction after the Virginia Tech Miami game. Hail Mary, win, touchdown or not. What do you think, Benjamin? What was it like for you seeing that crazy ending of that game?
First of all, the audacity of those refs to call it a touchdown. The audacity. Like, that was not a touchdown by any stretch of any imagination. Even if you don't know football, you know that that was not a catch. How did they rule that a catch? I don't know. I don't see any logic by my imagination that would say, okay, that is a catch. It definitely was not a catch. The drama of it all, though, I felt like I was watching.
Saying that it was a catch? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the drama of it, just like, oh, it was a catch. Yeah, like we were saying, it was a touchdown. Virginia Tech's team just celebrating on the field twice, it seemed. And I was like, there's no way that's a catch. It almost like they were trying to sabotage Miami for a second.
You know what? I was there on the field by the Miami players the entire time. And basically what it was, Miami thought they won the game soon as it hit 0-0-0, right? Virginia Tech started running towards them as well and started throwing up the U's, right? Oh, okay. Right, throwing up the backward shoes. So, and then Miami's looking really confused as to what is going on. Why are they celebrating? And then it hit. They have to rewatch the play.
Right.
Everyone's wondering what is going on. Everyone's watching the jumbotron. People are shaking. The players are shaking their head. Virginia Tech players are celebrating. So at this point, we get a replay. I'm walking around. I'm seeing all the players. That's not a touchdown. That's not a touchdown. Mario's walking around. It's an incomplete pass. And it was just so many more. I even saw at one point they had to pull Cam away from the replay camera area because he was so ready for the actual result of that Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
And it was just so much, so many emotions.
Yeah.
So many reactions from it. And then when it was all said and done,
yeah,
they went out running and they kind of just went to their side too and kind of just did the same thing that they did. And it was just full of emotion, a great ending. One of those games, it's a classic.
Yeah, instant
definitely
classic.
Built some character.
Yeah, definitely. This seems like a game that it would have been devastating if they lost. You know, just kind of how last year, the first ACC game against Georgia Tech, how devastating a loss that was. If they would have somehow ruled that was a touchdown, that would have been absolutely demoralizing for this team going forward. And I don't know how they would recover from that emotionally. I know the culture is really strong right now. It's at an all-time high, but it's hard to imagine that even the culture as strong as it is would be strong enough to kind of build this team back up from a loss to that. So there was kind of a sense of relief as well to see that called the right way.
Absolutely. I mean, going into this game, everyone had their say-so of, last year they were 4-0, this year they're 4-0, but that fifth game, getting over that game and just now having that momentum going into this is the first time they won 5 games. They were 5-0 since 2017. So this means a lot, and that says a lot. Mario just with the presser.
Yeah.
How do you think he was in the post presser?
I felt like there was a sense of relief from him as well. I felt like he didn't want to talk about everything that went bad in this game. He kind of wanted to keep it positive going forward to the next game against Cal, because there was a lot that you could say bad about this game.
Absolutely.
What this team did, what these players did, coaching decisions. There were just a lot of bad in this game. Unfortunately, fortunately, they came out on the right end of this game. So I think he was, relieved that this team had the poise and had the strength to kind of get through a game like this. And I think it's only going to help them going forward.
I mean, let's talk about some of the big plays. Mario did not like that the official gave them, I wouldn't say gave them the win, but made that final call. Right. But let's talk about some of the big plays that changed the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
Xavier. Let's start with Xavier making that play, that catch from the back, like kind of just slipping it and making that big catch.
Yeah, that was an amazing play. That play actually gave me goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie to you, just because it's 4th down, potentially the game on the line, and he slips, catches the ball with 2 hands. I mean, you could just tell just with the reps that he takes that it seemed routine for him. He kind of made it look easy, and that's the type of plays that X continues to make. Like every game, you see maybe something not that spectacular, but you see big plays from X every time.
Consistent.
And he said, it was all God, basically. He's very strong in his faith, and he doesn't like to bring attention to himself. Very humble guy, and just that play was just like, wow, that it was just an amazing play.
It was,
and it really explains why he's going to go down as one of the best wide receivers to ever put on the orange and green, because of plays like that. That play was a game saver.
Absolutely.
And it may be a season saver, depending how the rest of this season goes.
Another big play and a game changer, Malik Bryant making that big play. Let's talk about how that just completely changed the trajectory of the game.
Yeah, I think the Virginia Tech coaches are going to be kicking themselves for making that decision to do a fake field goal in that moment. They did need to do it. It would have been a short field goal. It would have extended the lead for them. It was already a 2-score game. It would have just made it, I believe, a 13-point game at that point.
It would have been 30-17 at that point if they would have scored off of that. But yeah, shout out to Malik Bryant for making a really heads-up play. Cristobal said that they really kind of saw what was going on, and they kind of diagnosed the play. So it definitely was a smart play on Bryant's part. But yeah, I think that gave the team momentum kind of going forward. And I think without that play, I don't think this comeback happens. I know that was definitely probably a kick in the head for making that call.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about play that just totally changed the game.
Right.
But with that being said, while we're talking about Virginia Tech,
well, I got to talk about one more amazing play on that last drive with Cam Ward dodging a sack and then dodging another sack and then shoveling over to Riley Williams, who almost scores on the play.
Oh my gosh.
Heisman moment for Cam Ward, to be honest. If this guy ends up winning the Heisman, that's going to be on his highlight reel. It's going to be on his highlight reel for the NFL Combine as well, just because it was just savvy. It was it seemed disastrous at first because he's been, getting heat this entire game, and you thought it's going to be another sack. He was sacked 3 times in this game, but not on this particular play. He was able to shrug off a defender, shrug off another one, and with a defender draped all over him, he was able to shovel it over to Riley Williams, who almost scores on the play, which ends up setting up what was the game-winning touchdown.
Wow. I mean, that was an unbelievable drive.
Yeah.
I also want to just commend Cam for just being resilient and getting through it. Even though he did have 3 turnovers, he had 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, especially at the beginning of the game. It's very easy to get your head in the game and just continue to make mistakes, but Cam just kind of stayed poised, but he also just was resilient throughout the game, and that is the Heisman winner quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
With that being said, the whole deal with his cousin, Virginia Tech's Kyron Drones, it was a little up during the week, asking about him talking.
Right.
Because
that was all you too.
Yeah, but they all get trained by a quarterback coach from Select Quarterback, Daryl Colbert.
Yeah.
Him, Shador, Kyron Drones, and it was just Cam is very competitive, so it was just one of those things. Him just talking or not talking to the opponent of that week.
Right.
They both were number 1. They're both very competitive. They're both really good quarterbacks, but at the end of the day, they're going head to head with each other. So
Right.
it was just interesting. I did see them after the game, just kind of kumbaya. They're still cool or whatever you
Kumbaya.
want. Yeah, just not, just good sportsmanship.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Cam came over to him, and it was still a good game. I did see his reaction as well. He was just very calm about the whole entire thing, even when Virginia Tech had the call that they won. He was still very calm about it and just waiting to see like what's what. But I feel like he played a really good game as well. And Kyron Jones, he did his thing.
Yeah, Kyron Drones, I thought definitely had a great game. He made a lot of great plays. The touchdown pass over here in this end zone where Mish Powell kind of was lost. Miami came out with an all-out blitz on that play.
Yes,
and somehow he was able to buy time, threw it up for his receiver, and his receiver was able to come down with the football. I was really impressed with Drones. I thought he put his team in a position to win. I mean,
Absolutely.
They obviously were a Hail Mary away, I guess you could say, from winning this game, which would have been a major upset and would have, definitely put their team on the right trajectory. But yeah, I was impressed with him. I was impressed with you with your reporting this week too.
Thank you.
On the subject matter of the two cousins training together. Definitely, follow C2 with more on that. And it'll be interesting to see what that FaceTime call really, how it really is, because you asked him that in the press conference as well.
Had to follow up on that. It was only
definitely.
right. It was only right. But at the end of the day, Cam just a competitive. That's
Absolutely.
just Cam at the end of the day. But I mean, some takeaways from this game, right? What are some of the takeaways? I know it was a lot. I feel like it was a lot of takeaways from this game. This game really showed, a different side of Cam. We've seen a different side of Cam.
Sure.
We saw some things that we definitely can work on. Defensively, how did you feel like they performed this game?
Let's start out with Cam. I mean, Cam put his team in danger today, in danger of losing because the turnovers were on him. The fumble was clearly on him, and the interceptions were on him as well. And I felt like he was just doing too much, just doing a little too much. Sometimes you don't have to be super Cam. Sometimes you just have to be a game manager just to win the game. Obviously, he's a game changer who can change games, but you kind of want to see him be a little bit more conservative, and you kind of saw that in the second half where he kind of ran the ball a little bit more. You saw the rushing touchdown. You saw him, just be more careful with the football in the second half, and that's kind of what you want to see, especially in these type of games. ACC play is going to continue, and they're going to be challenged again. So you don't want to see him put his team in harm's way, and that's kind of what he did today. Although he did still pass for over 300 yards, 343 yards, his percentage was a little bit lower than what you would like to see. He was up there around the 70s when it comes to completion percentage, but this game 63%. So you could tell he was a little bit off, and he forced some balls here. He forced the throw to Restrepo, the last interception. He was double covered, and he kind of forced that football in a very tight window, got broken up, deflected, obviously an interception there. So you don't want him to make those type of plays, I mean, that was kind of my first takeaway from Cam Ward.
I mean, I felt like he may have been in his head a little bit with this game, leading up to first ACC matchup against, I'm not sure what he was mentally, but he may have been in his head as far as doing too much. Probably right about that, maybe. But at the end of the day, you stated something. I mean, at the end of the day, they won by a skim of a hair.
Right.
But also, too, Cam, yes, he did have 3 turnovers, but he still performed at the end of the day. And I feel like now that we've seen Cam at his absolute best, especially beginning, we expect that performance or better every time. And I understand. But at the same time, he still performed. They got the W. On to the next.
Yeah, he made game-winning plays. I mean, you can make mistakes throughout a game, but as long as you make the game-winning play or game-winning drive, which is what he did in this game, that's all you really want from your quarterback, right? Because you want W's, you want to string together wins, and ultimately to get to the ultimate goal, which is to win a championship. So
something that he said in the presser that I felt like he was just sticking up where he said the O-line didn't really, he said something along the lines of they weren't really, it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault.
Right.
I've seen the O-line make some mistakes tonight. Actually cost the touchdown that they were supposed to have.
Right.
I mean, I feel like he got sacked 3 times. That was the most we've seen him sacked this season. But Cam is just still a stand-up guy. But that is definitely something that we definitely have to work on, especially to not just with Cam passing, but also the running, because I feel like the running backs have not fully formed today. 14 carries for 60 yards.
For Damian Martinez, your lead back, your RB1. Obviously, they believe in Damian Martinez because he got 14 carries. The next highest running back to get carries was Mark Fletcher with just 5. So obviously they believe Damian Martinez is the #1 back. Let us know in the comments, if you believe that Damian Martinez is RB1. Also, let us know in the comments if you feel like that was a catch or not at the end of the game, because there's some people on Twitter that thinks that is a touchdown. I am obviously not one of them, but let us know in the comments about that.
Also, too, I did read on the tweet, the official said that if the defensive player is touching the ball, has contact with the ball, and they're out of bounds, it's automatically ruled incomplete. But with that being said, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that should be a rule? Do you think that should be, if a defensive player has contact with the ball and they're out, it should be ruled incomplete?
I don't know if about contact with the ball, if it should be incomplete, but dude never had possession of the ball. The Virginia Tech player never had possession, and I think that's why eventually they ruled it incomplete, because he was kind of bobbling it, and then when it finally landed in someone's hands, it was Isaiah Horton, who was wearing 43. I actually didn't know who 43 was at that point, but he had to switch jerseys because he's #2, and Daryl Porter was also on the field as #2, so they had to, put the 43 on him. So yeah, I mean, to go back to my other takeaways in this game was that this defense, man, I feel like Virginia Tech went into this game with a really good game plan as far as running to the boundaries or running to the outside of the tackles, because that was working for them. They were kind of stretching this defense out, and as a result of that, there was plenty of missed tackles in this game. Kiko Malinoa was one of those guys. He's a sure tackler for most part. He missed some tackles in this game, so one of which was the long touchdown run to the Virginia Tech back, 55-yarder. So I think that's an area of concern. It's the first game that it is an area of concern, but it's something that needs to be addressed going into the rest of these ACC games.
Yes, I agree. As far as the tackling, I did see a lot of missed tackles today. Who got the most tackles today?
I think it was Jadis Richard.
I think it was Harris.
I think it was. You think it was Harris? I think it was Richard with the most tackles. It could have been Harris. Harris did leave this game with an injury. Hopefully he's okay. There were a lot of injuries as well, if you want to just kind of touch on that.
Damari Brown.
Harris pretty much didn't play the entire second half. Markeith Williams left the game for a while. And then Damari Brown was on the sideline, in a brace, so hopefully he can return soon. We thought maybe Ruben Payne was going to come back in this game.
Jalen.
I saw him sprinting before the game started.
You did. I saw that. You tweeted that out. I was like, oh, well, maybe we have a chance. Maybe Ruben will be back. And then he didn't suit up.
And he didn't suit up. I want to say he sprinted dead sprints from sideline to sideline, maybe about 10 times. So I was hopeful that he was going to play. Do you think he's going to be in for Cal? I believe so. I think he should be good for Cal. I think if he doesn't suffer any setbacks from now until the trip to Cal, I think he should be able to suit up based on what I saw. But yeah, the injuries kind of piled up a little bit. Tyler Barron was kind of nursing an injury in this game. He wasn't his 100% self. You can kind of tell. But I think they, just kind of need to recover from those injuries and
they're beat up this game.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, they played, those 5 games straight.
Sure.
Right. They have Cal next week, which will be another long trip for them as well. A week and a day, yes.
For sure.
10:30 p.m. game.
Yeah.
That's going to be different for them as well.
Yeah. 7:30 over there, but still 10:30 for us over here. So we got
a little setback, but I feel like with all of this going on, it was a short week for them.
Yeah.
With been having a short week may cause less practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Less preparation.
Yeah. I mean, it's fortunate that this is a Friday game, so it kind of gives them that extra day to travel. So they still will be basically on schedule like they normally are. This week was a short week. But, hopefully they kind of clean up the things that they need to clean up when it comes to tackles and turnovers. I mean, those were the main reasons why this game was closer than it needed to be. But fortunately, Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo and Andy Borregales, I want to shout out him for hitting the field goal right before the half.
His brother was here today,
yeah,
supporting him on the field. I was happy to see him. He was right there getting all of Andy plays.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to see him out there supporting his brother.
Awesome. Yeah, those guys to me get the game balls for me.
Absolutely.
Restrepo, Andy for hitting that field goal, which was clutch. Malik Bryant for that tackle and the fake field goal.
Absolutely.
And who else do you think should get the game ball?
I was going to say Malik Bryant. I was also 2X. You took it right on. But Andy, I'm glad you said Andy because Andy's always consistent. He's he made that 56-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And it was just, he's just one of those guys that we can always rely on. And
sure.
we need those points. And we needed those points tonight.
Yeah.
So
obviously.
shout out to Andy for that.
Sure.
But he's just, just going into Cal. Another away game for them, and it's just
way away.
I know, but at the same time, I feel like that bye week is definitely going to be needed sure. But
for us too.
What's your? Oh yes.
I can't wait for that bye week. I'm not gonna lie.
What time? It's really late. Yeah. I want to go to sleep at a decent time.
Yeah, me too.
But with that being said, we love doing these instant reactions. Yeah. All in out. Miami got the win tonight.
38-34.
It was a classic. I would never forget this game, how it ended. It was just one of those things. My heart was coming out of I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like running on the field and Virginia Tech's running.
I was big mad at the end. I was like, I can't. The audacity of the refs to call that a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
I was big mad, but
I was confused.
Fortunately,
I was a lot of
the
things.
right call.
Y'all make sure y'all watch all of my reaction. I have a ton of reaction videos from the whole entire time. So y'all make sure y'all go on my YouTube and watch them. I have them on there. And Michael Irvin was, oh my God, he got me so fired up. Thinking about it now, I love Michael Irvin.
Yeah,
he's just great. I was happy he was at this game.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect for him being on the sideline, just cheering the guys on, and I was happy for them too. The crowd was nice as well.
Yeah.
So shout out to the crowd
almost
for coming.
60,000.
Yeah, shout out to the crowd for coming. But we'll see you guys. We won't see you guys at Cal.
Well, we might do a little something. We might do a little something.
God did. Thank you guys so much for watching. What a game. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys, let us know what you want. What else do you want us to talk about?
Sure.
How do you guys want us to just go about Miami Hurricanes? It's going to be a long season for us.
Oh yeah.
So let us know what you want from us. I love you guys. Thank you guys for sticking with us and watching us tonight. Benjamin, I'm going home. It's super duper late. It's super duper late.
For sure.
We're leaving the Hard Rock. We'll see you guys in a few weeks here at the Hard Rock.
FSU, baby.